our press event here, we're going to head to Governor Branstad's office, which is right over there. And we'll be there for several reasons. One, to deliver a letter to Governor Branstad asking him for a public meeting. So we have some folks here who have asked Governor Branstad for a meeting about the Bakken pipeline for over a year now, and he has not agreed. So we'll be there in mass to ask Governor Branstad for a meeting, and some folks will be there to share their concerns about the Bakken pipeline. Is Governor Branstad with Iowa or against Iowa? So.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
About to begin our press conference. I'm with the Bakken Pipeline Resistance Coalition, 27 organization-strong statewide Iowa coalition that fiercely opposes the Bakken pipeline. We are taking back our state from the growing scourge of corporate greed that cares only for short-term profits and nothing for the health or well-being of our children or the future generations to follow.
If approved, will this be the first permit that the IUB board has issued to a private for-profit company and allowing them to use eminent domain? What precedent will this establish for other landowners in Iowa? What good is all the money and oil in the world if your land and water are destroyed? Thank you.
If constructed, the pipeline would tie us to a future of dirty energy and fossil fuel transport to the tune of 570,000 additional barrels, of climate-killing crude oil per day through our state.
So I stand before you as someone that spent countless hours over the past year standing alongside landowners and climate justice fighters and everyday Iowans who are interested in stopping the Bakken pipeline. Yet I'm a little bit confused. 1 year ago, the governor told us to trust the permitting process laid out for the Bakken pipeline. This meant trusting in the Iowa Utilities Board, the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, and the Army Corps of Engineers to do good work by Iowans and stand up for our soil, water, and communities. Do y'all remember that? Does that sound good to you? Doesn't sound good to me. What I've seen and what I've heard from other pipeline fighters across the state is something entirely different. The story I've heard is about an Iowa Utilities Board that has ignored public comment and demands for stricter environmental review from day one. It's about an Iowa DNR that intentionally crafted a public hearing to minimize the voices of everyday Iowans. That ain't right. It's about an Army Corps of Engineers that will only review 3 of nearly 70 crossings for waters of the U.S. in this state. These are the people that Governor Branstad trusts to stand up for us. Conveniently, he just so happens to be the one that gave them power. What's clear, however, is that they have failed us, that they're in the pocket of big industry, and that would rather grease the wheels for this risky proposal than do right by Iowans. Over the past year, we've endured this bureaucratic nightmare, as Iowa's lead state agencies on the permitting of the Bakken pipeline have dismissed, discounted, and minimized our voices at every step, all while neglecting their own responsibilities to protect our natural resources. They tell us that everything will be fine, that Dakota Access is ready to build this pipeline with minimal disruption to Iowa's precious farmland. We know that isn't true. With oil spills, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Communities across the country are already dealing with the impacts of oil spills, with toxic water, with toxic soil cleaned up on the public's dime, with landowner rights and indigenous treaty rights being tossed aside for the sake of profit. The evidence is clear, and our stories prove that this pipeline isn't right for Iowa. Still, indecision hangs in the air. IUB, DNR, and Army Corps of Engineers are waiting to make their decision at this very moment, waiting for the politically expedient moment to pave the way for this pipeline to come through our state. What's worse, we sort of already know how they're going to rule, don't we? While I hope that IUB will stand with Iowans.
We don't want your pipeline here. Dakota Access, let's be clear. We don't want your pipeline here. Dakota Access, let's be clear. We don't want your pipeline here. Dakota Access, let's be clear. We don't want your pipeline here.
I'm 23 years old and just getting started in life. Yet I'm fearful of what life will look like on a planet with an increasingly unstable climate, with looming water shortages and droughts, which threaten the very fields that grow our food. This is because the planet that I will grow old on already bears the scars of a fundamentally broken economic system.
Dakota Access, let's be clear. We don't want your pipeline.
This system has scarred the earth with pipelines across the Great Plains, burdened our soil with life-extinguishing crude, lined our riverbeds with carcinogens, and choked out life with the fumes of refineries in cities like Detroit, Toledo, and Houston. All of this destruction for the profits of wealthy businessmen in suits far removed from the consequences of their reckless, self-serving ventures.
There's a lot of room in there. A lot of room in there. How are you? There are quite a few people, so more cameras.
All right, who's next?
Hello, I'm Dania Wanaksi. I'm an Iowan. I'm also a Meskwaki tribal member. I am here asking the governor to talk to these people and listen to their commands or their requests about not using eminent domain to approve this Bakken pipeline because I am concerned for these Iowans. I am Meskwaki, and this was our land prior to this being a state. All of this land between the Missouri and Mississippi River. And if they allow this Bakken pipeline, it'll hurt a lot of elders and children, and that's what I'm concerned about. If you will not defend me or stand up for me, then get behind me so I can defend you like these people. I am not speaking for myself, I am speaking for human beings and all my Iowa citizens that I care about. This isn't a race issue, this is a human being issue. And I'm asking the governor to see them.
So the thing that I wanted to share with the governor was to, is this all right? Okay. Is to imagine with me that he lives in the small town where I live now, and just 350 people or fewer, just a mile west of that small town. And if he walks out to his backyard and goes to the edge of his yard where there's a barbed wire fence and looks west toward what looks like a Grant Wood painting with rolling hills and fields and a pond and a stand of trees. It's just beautiful. If he thinks it's winter now, but if he thinks about spring and the possibility of seeing coming from the northwest across the Chautauqua Valley Trail and underneath it, giant machines to rip into the earth and to create a giant tear in the earth to lay a pipeline larger than Iowa has ever seen.
We don't want your pipeline here. No to access, let's